guys, and welcome back. I am back with another Momo, and this week I thought I'd talk to you about the greatness in small beginnings. So I've been thinking a lot about how a lot of people I've been speaking to are frustrated because they feel like they're stagnant, or they feel like, they've not peaked yet, they haven't reached where they want to be. And I just wanted to come at you today and share about why I think there is greatness in small beginnings. Before I get into the topic, I just want to clarify what a Momo is. So some people may be watching this thinking, what's going on? What is this Momo? If you've watched these before, you know what I'm going to say. But basically, Momo is motivational moments, motivational Monday, or motivational messages. And as I said, I wanted to talk to you about the greatness in small beginnings. Now, you may be on a fitness journey, starting a business, on a weight loss journey, and you may just think, oh my gosh, I'm never just going to reach the end, and I'm frustrated because I haven't made as many strides as I wanted to. And essentially, I just wanted to come and share a couple of points that I jotted down about why I think small beginnings are so great. Point number one on my list is small beginnings teach you how to be humble. And I think there's a lesson to be learned in humility. I think we live in a time where people are very kind of self-centered, and actually, with small beginnings, you do learn how to be humble, whether it's humility in terms of reaching out and asking your family and friends for support, whether it's humility in your job and having to continue to chip away at that, level where you're at to try and, climb the ladder, or humility in terms of how you interact with other people. So there is greatness in humility, because that humility actually will serve you well as you climb and you get to the top. That's how you get loyalty from people, and that's really where you get to show who you are. Within humility, I guess the next thing I'd say is, with your small beginnings, you really learn about character. Now, I read a quote once where they said that character is what you do when no one is watching. And I think in those small beginnings, or in those early days, you have a chance to really develop your character. It's when I set up my first business, I remember I had on my wall, what I know, who I know, and who I am. And in those early days, before everyone knows you or knows who you are, you have a chance to actually carve out your own space in the world, and actually decide who you are and what you're going to stand for. So if that's a business, who am I and what is my business going to be about? How am I going to conduct myself? If that's a diet, you get to think about, okay, it's not only what I'm doing when people are watching me on YouTube, for example, it's what I'm doing when I'm alone. And so you get a chance to really develop and build that character. And through the trials and tribulations, you actually get to improve on that character and build on that character, and it makes you a stronger person. The next point I have here about the greatness in small beginnings is that you learn how to be adaptable. So, as opposed to working in a big organization, I'm sure some of you do, where there's so many rules and regulations, you get to decide, you get to adapt to situations, and it teaches you to think on your feet. So, for example, thinking back to when I had my business, I remember, I was all set for my big launch, and then it snowed. And everyone was like, what are we going to do? It snowed out. You can't even drive down the driveway. And I had to quickly adapt and improvise. And so it teaches you adaptability and flexibility. And if you are working, or you're in a situation where everything is laid out, sometimes you don't get that chance to be creative or adaptable. And so that builds you up as well. So for me, that's a wonderful thing. And it's a powerful tool to have, to be able to think on your toes, adapt, and move on with the situation. So I think that adaptability is a massive, massive plus. The last thing I have on here, actually I have two more points. One of the last things I have on here is stewardship. So when I mean stewardship, it's about how you look after and invest and use the resources that you have. So again, if you have abundant supplies of money, you may be a bit frivolous. But when you're in a situation where you have to think, okay, how am I going to do this on a limited budget? Or how am I going to do this with zero budget? Or how am I going to do this, without necessarily the contacts? You learn how to steward and how to really be careful with what you have. And if you learn that trick, or if you learn how to really steward what you have when you don't have much, when you have plenty, then you'll know how to work with that money, how to invest, and how to build on it. So that stewardship is a very, very, very important thing, because you don't want to then, hit your peak or get to where you want to be and then squander everything away, because you actually just don't know how to deal with money, you don't know how to deal with finances. And also within that stewardship, what I'd also say is you learn about consistency. So if you're someone who's going to, invest X amount or save X amount, when you've got that small beginning, it's a dream and it's a vision, or maybe an idea. In my case, with the weight loss thing, I've got a goal. You have to be consistent in order to meet that goal. And, consistency is what everyone's going to be looking at to say, okay, are you talking about it or are you being about it? In those early days with those small beginnings, you get a chance to be consistent and to chip away. That builds who you are in terms of character. But again, I think if you're consistent, then people will respect you and learn to take you, at your word, and know that you'll deliver what you say you're going to deliver. So it helps you actually know how to push through the bad times. If everything has always been plain sailing, then you probably won't know what to do when things go south. My very, very final thing on here is interpersonal skills, and I think that's important as well. So again, in the early days of when I was setting up my business, I had to learn how to talk to people, how to strike a bargain, how to negotiate, how to hire people, how to fire people, and everything that comes in between. So you know who you can depend on, and you know who you can't depend on. You know how to read clients and customers. And so those interpersonal skills, again, is not something that someone can just teach you. Sometimes you have to go through it in order to know how to deal with different people from different walks of life. So if you are going through those small beginnings, I hope a couple of points of what I've said to you have encouraged you. Just know that there is greatness in small beginnings. All of these points are just scratching the surface in terms of what those small beginnings can do for you. But I like the saying. There's a saying that says you can eat an elephant, a whole elephant, but essentially the way you do it is to do it one small bite at a time. And so know that you can achieve those goals, you can get past it, and you can hit that point of greatness, but you have to have those baby steps and keep chipping away to get there. So that's it for me, for my Momo. If you haven't, please can you like, can you comment, can you subscribe? Let me know what you think, and let me know if you have any other topics that you guys would like us to talk about. But that's it from me in a very rainy London, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.